Seth Winterhalter here, Spartan Body and Mind Podcast. Here is the question of the day. Can I eat after 6 p.m.? Well, let me give you three quick facts. Number one, we have to think about how the body uses calories. Think about this. A lot of people hear the urban myth that the body can only process so many calories, it can only process so many grams of protein, and so it's worthless, it's pointless to eat more than 30 grams of protein in one sitting. Well, to say that is to not understand how the body actually metabolizes. Yes, the body can only metabolize in a given hour so many grams of protein. So it can only metabolize, it can only process so many grams of anything. So that doesn't mean, though, that if you have a meal, let's say with 100 grams of protein, that it's going to process 25 grams of that, shove that into your muscles, shove that into your system for the growth and sustainability of muscles, and then it's going to be like, we give up for the day. No, it's going to process that over the hours ahead. So it'll process the first 25 grams the first hour, the next 25 grams the second hour. So again, if you eat a meal that big, you're going to be full for quite a few hours, probably until it's done processing. And then you'll start to feel hungry again. That's why you feel hungry. Your body needs more nutrients, usually, unless you're killing yourself with a lot of food. So, number one, can I eat after 6 p.m.? The first thing we have to do is understand how our body uses calories and how it's processing. So if you eat late at night, if you eat after 6 p.m., it's just going to process that. So there's nothing wrong with your body processing food while you're resting, while you're sitting around watching TV. Yeah, do you want to eat a ton of carbohydrates during at 10 p.m. at night? Probably not, because the body doesn't really need that, doesn't need that energy. So it's more likely going to turn that energy, turn those carbohydrates, that energy source, into fat if you're not using it, if it doesn't have some kind of need for that. Now, if you haven't hit your daily caloric goal for the day, it's going to use that and use that in the fire of its body. So again, it's just, we're not thinking when we say, I can't eat after 6 p.m. First off, we're not really understanding how the engine of our body works, how our metabolism works, how the processing of digestion works. And so first, understand that the body's always burning and using fuel. Even when you're asleep, it still needs energy to be able to sleep. Does it need the energy you need before a workout? No. That's why I recommend that when you eat at night, you have your protein, maybe some fat. You don't really eat a lot of carbs for that last meal of the night. You don't need them. You've had plenty of carbs, hopefully, throughout the day to fuel your real activity. But you still need protein, and you still could eat some healthy fats to keep that brain healthy and full. That's going to help you sleep, actually. Second is, again, I've already said this, can I eat after 6 p.m.? It's understanding protein absorption, the way your body is absorbing food. You need nutrients in your body, in your blood, to continue even while you're sleeping. So your body's going to be at work. It'll be slower. It's not going to be humming quite as much as you in activity, but it's still processing. It's still working. So there's nothing wrong with eating after 6 p.m. and keeping the body doing what the body's doing. Third thing to consider when thinking about can I eat after 6 p.m. is just, again, the timing. We want healthy food throughout the day. So when I think about eating, I predominantly think about breakfast. I want a good breakfast. I want to start the day with healthy fat. That's why I eat eggs in the morning, is because I want my brain to be active. I want it to be sharp. I don't want cloudiness. I want it to be fueled and firing. I want protein in my day, in my breakfast, because I want my muscles and to feel alive, to be ready, to be getting the nutrients they need throughout the day. I want to make sure I get all the protein that I need in my day, which means unless I want to be eating 10 ounces of protein per meal, I need to have a good protein-rich breakfast. I also want to be mindful then about my pre and post workout. If you're working out, specifically in the gym, heavy weights, you need to be thinking specifically about the meal you eat before you work out and the meal you eat after. The meal you eat before should be your biggest carb meal. It should help you. Now, again, there's a little bit of debate on this well, I feel sluggish. Okay, well, let's figure that out. Let's dial that in. Maybe you're eating too quickly before you work out. But for the most part, you need your biggest carb source then to really fuel that workout. But you need to eat an hour to an hour and a half. I usually eat an hour and a half, even 2 hours before my workout, because I do kind of like to have a bit of an empty stomach when I work out, so I can really push. But I need those carbohydrates. I need that fuel in me. In fact, that's why I stopped intermittent fasting when I went through my kind of weight loss journey and lost 100 pounds. Once I started going back to the gym 6 months after I kind of began my journey, I found that I just didn't have any strength. I didn't have any energy when I was lifting. And so I started eating breakfast. I stopped intermittent fasting, started eating throughout the day, and started really then dialing in my pre-workout meal to make sure it was higher in carbs, less in fat, so it wasn't long digestion, it was quick digesting, and really filling out and pumping into my body the needs so that I could lift well. So, and then post-workout, you want to make sure you're getting a good deal of protein, again, some good carbs for recovery in that meal, but you really want to hit protein and make sure you are getting that into the muscles. And then the last workout of the day should just be protein and fat, I think. Maybe a touch of carb. Some people, I gotta have some carbs in my meal. Great. Just make sure that the carbs in that meal is the smallest. Because, again, you don't need that kind of energy when you're in your sleep state. But there's nothing wrong with eating at 8 p.m., 10 p.m. I used to eat, I think my latest meal was 10, 11 p.m. just because it's kind of the peak when I was doing it, when I was trying to really push and gain as much muscle as possible. I had to eat like 6, 7, 8 meals a day. And so that means I was eating late and I didn't get fat because I was thinking about the calories per day, right? Again, it's about numbers. It doesn't matter really what time you eat. It matters about the number. Are you eating an excess of calories that's going to make you fat, or are you eating the right number that's either going to sustain or it's going to help you lose weight? So, can I eat after 6 p.m.? Of course you can. Just be mindful of what you're eating and be mindful of your calorie count for the day. What you want to avoid is dessert. That's where most people, after 6 p.m., you eat a you eat a carb-rich dinner, too much macaroni, too many mashed potatoes, too many fried things, and then you double down and you have 2 scoops of ice cream with chocolate syrup on top. You just filled your body with a ton of sugar and a ton of really thick, fatty, not healthy carbs, and you wonder why you're sluggish and bloated and you sleep like junk. Dial that back. Eat good protein with some healthy fat for dinner. Avoid the ice cream. Or if you have ice cream, have like 3 bites, right? That's all you really need. Just whet the sweet tooth, 3 bites, boom, you're good to go. And enjoy. You'll watch. Your sleep will increase. Your sleep will be so much better. And so, anyway, try those tips, put those into practice and see. Get back to me. I'd love to hear if you did that for a week. If you don't think about the timing of your eating, think about more about what I'm eating. Try a protein-rich, less carbs dinner, and try only eating 3 bites of ice cream instead of 3 scoops of ice cream, and see how that helps your sleep. See how that makes you feel in the morning. And I'd love to hear the results. Talk to you then.